what's up everyone? GameDad here, and we are back with part 2 of my current Sega Genesis collection. Now we're going to dive right in and see what games are on the list for today. Hard Drivin' was released by Tengen in 1990, and while I don't really care for the control scheme in this game, the graphics really did push the limit of what the Sega Genesis was capable of in giving you really kind of 3D effects, as you can see in this gameplay footage. James Bond 007 The Duel was released by Domark in 1993, and it's a fun little action platformer kind of game. You go through, you're playing as Bond, you get your weapon, you get to jump around. It's kind of weird that he does a giant flip in the air every time, but it's okay. Jam It was released by Virgin Interactive in 1993, and this is your typical kind of NBA style basketball game, but not licensed in any way. You choose some different characters and you just kind of play some old school ball. That's it. The Jungle Book was released by Virgin Interactive Entertainment in 1994, and this is another one of those classic Disney movie adaptations on the Sega. So you go through, you're playing as Mowgli, and you're collecting different little things and fighting off enemies and just having some fun. Jurassic Park was released by Sega in 1993, and in this game, you kind of loosely go through the movie storyline. And I say loosely because obviously it didn't start immediately with the T-Rex in the movie, but you go through some platformer-style gameplay, and that's pretty much it. King Salmon was released by Vic Tokai in 1992, and I gotta say, not a huge fan of fishing games, but I mean, this one you kind of have an overworld that you go around in, and then you kind of get zoomed into another little area, and then you start your fishing, so kind of cool how it plays with the worlds that way. Up next, we have Lemmings 2 Tribes, released by Psygnosis in 1994, and this just gives you more classic Lemmings action. If you've ever played a Lemmings game, they are essentially all the same. They just have different graphics and stuff like that, sometimes a bit of a storyline. The Lion King was released by Virgin Interactive in 1994, and this game is famous for being notoriously difficult. It looks amazing graphically, you got great audio, as is typical with Sega games, but after the first level, this game gets impossibly hard to play. So, I mean, it's okay, but it could have been better. Madden NFL 95 was released by EA in 1994, and this is just like every other Madden NFL game. I mean, you go through, you play some football, you select your plays. I mean, I've said it before, I don't really care for sports games. And here we have Marble Madness, released by EA in 1992. And what's kind of cool about this is I remember always playing the original on NES, and this one has way better graphics and audio because it's on a 16-bit console with the Genesis. So it was really cool being able to play this in a kind of remastered way. Marsupilami was released by Sega in 1995, and this game is like a video game adaptation of the cartoon. So it's kind of goofy. There isn't really any, crazy storyline to speak of or anything like that, but it's got some fun gameplay to it. And next up, we have Mega Bomberman, released by Sega in 1994. And this is classic Bomberman action, but on the Sega. And it actually gives you better graphics than you would actually expect for a Sega game. And it gives you just solid Bomberman gameplay. Mighty Morphin Power Rangers was released by Sega in 1994, and this is like a Mortal Kombat or Street Fighter style game, but with the Power Rangers. So you get to play as any one of the different Rangers, and you go through and you're going through a loose storyline and battling different baddies. And speaking of Mortal Kombat, here it is, released by Arena Entertainment in 1993, and this is the OG. This is, your original 7 characters. You go through, very, very loose storyline, and you just learn how to battle. Next up is Mortal Kombat 2, released by Acclaim Entertainment in 1994, and as you can see, it has an expanded roster, better graphics, but they're still using those realistic looking sprites and stuff, and you go through and you fight your way to the top, just like any other Mortal Kombat game. And here we have Mortal Kombat 3, this time released by Williams Entertainment in 1995, and this game, again, better graphics, you got a bit of that bump there, better looking sprites, and again, an expanded roster. So you get to go through and play as all your different favorite characters. And here we have a classic that is Ms. Pac-Man, released by Tengen in 1991. And in this game, it's actually got surprisingly excellent graphics for what it is. And you go through, you play some classic Mrs. Pac-Man, getting your power-ups, getting some speed, and just having some fun. And here we have MTV's Beavis and Butthead, released by Viacom New Media in 1994. And this is basically like watching a TV show. I mean, it's just as stupid as the show. And not to knock it or anything, you know, is a kind of cult classic, but it's Beavis and Butthead. What do you want? And here we have NBA Showdown 94, released by EA Sports in 1994. And I gotta say, based on the other NBA style games that are on this console, this one graphically looks horrible. It almost looks 8-bit on a 16-bit console. I really think they could have done a better job here. Up next is NBA Jam, released by Arena Entertainment in 1994. And although I do not care for sports games, I gotta say, I put in dozens of hours on this game. This game, I don't know what it is. Maybe it's just, you know, the 2-on-2 aspect, but it is so much more fun than all the other ones. And here we have NBA Jam Tournament Edition, released by Acclaim Entertainment in 1994. And this game, as you can see, they give you a cool 3D kind of screen in the front, but they also expanded it to add more teams and different players. So that was a fun way to really spice up the game more. Next up is NFL Football 94, released by Sega Sports in 1993, and this is the one that is starring Joe Montana. So again, it's another football game. I don't understand how these games work with selecting the different plays and stuff like that. All I know is I'm absolutely horrible at them. Now here we have the NFL Quarterback Club, released by Acclaim Entertainment in 1994, and this one, they give you a few different things that you could do, like sort of mini-game stuff, but then they also let you go through full-on seasons of football games, so that was actually pretty cool how they added that kind of functionality into a Sega Genesis game. Up next is NHL 95, released by EA Sports in 1994, and this game is what I am absolutely the worst at when it comes to sports. I know absolutely nothing about hockey, I don't know how the game is played, and I'm even worse at the video game. Up next, we have Pac-Man 2, The New Adventures, released by Namco in 1994, and this was a completely different take on a Pac-Man game, which is very, very apparent. So this, they added a full-on storyline. You got Mrs. Pac-Man, you got Baby Pac-Man there, and you're just going on like a platforming adventure. Now here we have Primal Rage, released by Time Warner Interactive in 1995, and this is just like any other kind of fighting game like Mortal Kombat, Street Fighter, the Power Rangers game, any of those kind of games, even like a Clay Fighter kind of thing, except it's with dinosaurs and stuff. Up next is Rise Star, released by Sega in 1995, and this game, I gotta say, is awesome. The graphics are great, the music is great, has a very Sonic the Hedgehog kind of vibe to it, and it was definitely a mascot-style character for Sega, and I really enjoy this game. And here we have Road Rash, released by EA in 1991, and this is just motorcycle mayhem at its finest. I have just about every single Road Rash game that exists for all the different consoles, and I love every single one of them. These games are awesome. Here we have Road Rash 2, released by EA in 1992, and this gave you better graphics, it gave you different bikes, different courses, and including the ability to even hit people with like chains and all kinds of stuff. So even more mayhem, even more fun. Love these Road Rash games. And the last game for this video is Rocket Knight Adventures, released by Konami in 1993. And this is another one, just like Rise Star, this game is so good. It's graphically pleasing, it controls great, it's a super fun platformer, and I wish they would have made more of this franchise. So there you have it, everyone. That is everything in part 2 of my current Genesis collection. Now, so far, have you guys noticed anything that might be missing from the collection, or anything that is a must-have that I should really get? Let me know down in the comments below. And while you're down there, please be sure to hit those like and subscribe buttons, as well as that little notification bell, so you get an alert every time I got a new video coming out. Now, next week will be the final part of my Genesis collection series. That'll be part 3, so be sure to turn on that bell, that way you get the alert for it. Now, as always, I'm GameDad. I thank you guys for watching, and I'll catch you later.